This is a story about madness. It's crazy that people are sticking up for Bundy when he's not being honest. It's even crazier that the government is trying to steal people's land and livestock under Agenda 21.
It's absolutely nuts that an alternative media mob is using this as an opportunity to jumpstart a domestic insurrection against the largest, most ruthless, technologically advanced military machine on Earth.
Who's crazier? The Bundy Ranch. The Bundy Ranch is a 160-acre ranch in Nevada. Cliven Bundy was allowed to graze his cattle on public land in that area, claiming that since 1877 his family has been doing so. When they only got there in 1954, of course. The BLM. Bundy lost 4 cases and has been fighting the BLM in court for 20 years. In 2009, the court gave the BLM an order to seize the cattle if they were grazing on public land, and they waited until now to do so, taking 150 animals, allegedly burying some of them on the public land after a number supposedly died in transit due to the loving tender care the BLM provided them, of course. Agenda 21.
4 years ago, the Obama administration allowed 220 million acres of public land to go to the Wildlands Project. The BLM was to manage, oversee, and look for new areas to steal. Some of these states they were looking at were Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, California, Arizona, Oregon, Washington State, and Nevada.
The public land Bundy is grazing cattle on is under federal jurisdiction because Nevada's constitution had given up state sovereignty to the federal government since 1864. Bundy had attempted to pay for the grazing directly to the Nevada state government, despite the fact that they have no jurisdiction whatsoever. This might be the reason why he lost 4 cases in a row and took 20 years to do so.
Those are the facts outlining the case. But what are the alternative media reporting? A video surfaced of BLM thugs tasering and setting dogs upon protesters that were supporting the Bundy Ranch's struggle. This has resulted in an alternative media feeding frenzy, fear-mongering, and calls to gather an enormous posse of militia to the ranch. Former Sheriff Mack recommended putting women in the front line, even his own wife and daughter. So if the BLM started shooting, dead women would be all over the news.
It's been reported that Senator Harry Reid is intensely involved in the situation, as he has an interest in putting up a solar farm on the land Bundy won't be allowed to graze on. Except it was his son that was providing legal representation to a Chinese solar panel company, and that deal fell through in 2013 anyway.
It's also been reported that this is part of an agenda to start hydraulic fracturing or fracking in the area, when documents prove that the fracking consents are for eastern Nevada, when the Bundy Ranch is on the other side of the state in western Nevada.
The alternative media has compared Cliven Bundy to iconic civil rights symbol Rosa Parks, saying that there's a correlation between her struggle for civil rights and his. Cliven Bundy was later quoted as saying, "I want to tell you one more thing I know about the Negro. They abort their young children, they put their young men in jail because they never learned how to pick cotton. And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves?" Regardless, it's not a civil rights issue, but a states' rights issue to begin with.
So now you know that nearly everything the government does is evil. Nearly everything the alternative and mainstream media report is BS. So what is the solution to this debacle? For starters, let's make it a states' rights issue, as it properly should be. Amending the Nevada State Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, so that jurisdiction over Nevada land will be subject to real property laws determined by the state itself and not the federal government.